Chapter 2 Club's Smart Woman's Guide to Breakups and Everything After. Today I'm here with matrimonial attorney from New York, Gabrielle Hagege, and we're going to be talking about how to communicate with your divorced partner. Hi, Gabrielle. How are you?
Hi, Melanie. I'm great. Thank you for having me.
Thank you for being here. So let's talk about a topic that can be very stressful, and that's communicating with your divorced partner as you're going through the whole legal system. So let's begin.
Yeah. This topic is one that we often have to, guide our clients on. When it comes to contested custody litigation, which is essentially where you're going to have these communication come up a lot, the best policy is to do these communications in writing. You will then have records of what issues were discussed, what was said by you, what was said by your ex-spouse, and what you communicated back and forth. So in order to have these communications work the best for you, we always advise to keep them simple, keep them to one topic, make sure that they're to the point, make sure that they're not accusatory, but you stick with the facts, and always be resolution-based. When you're discussing issues, decisions, problems you and your ex-spouse are facing vis-a-vis your children, you always want to make sure that you provide a resolution and to be reasonable.
Okay.
It's always
like go off on a tangent.
Right. You don't want to muddy the waters. If you're going to talk about a choice with regards to school, you want to keep it to that choice regarding school. If you want to discuss a medical issue, you want to just discuss that medical issue. You don't want to muddy the waters with other issues that may not be important, but then can muddy the issues for the court, because that's why essentially you're communicating in writing, because at one point or another, these issues may or may not come up in a custody trial or in a motion practice, and you want to have a record of what was said in that context.
Okay.
And I also want to say this, it's always hard to gauge tone in an email. These issues are important because they concern your children, and you may or may not be writing them in a more emotionally charged state. So what I always advise is to kind of take a step back, write the email that you want to write and send it to yourself, and then maybe sleep on it or wait a couple hours and reread it. Sometimes we think we're being effective communicators, that we're being resolutions-based, when really, in fact, the emotions have taken over. So to get a second set of eyes on it is always better. And your attorney can be there to do that as well for you. They can always come, and if you're unsure how this is coming across,
right,
they can, look to, with expert eyes, what you're communicating, whether or not it fits within the confines of what's going to be best strategically for you in the long run. And in terms of strategy, you want to be seen as the parent who keeps the other one involved. You want to be seen as the parent who's respectful to the other. You want to be seen in these communication as the parent who's fostering a healthy relationship with the other parents, who's resolution-based and not blame-based. At the end of the day, you're either going to settle your case with your spouse, or you're going to be in a protracted litigation where these issues are going to be the data points that the court looks to in making a determination as to custodies. Right. So, you want the court to see you in the best light possible, and you want there to be a record that this has been your behavior during the time that the conflict between you and your spouse has arisen. So to the best of your ability, you should try to be focused on achieving those goals, which is keep the other spouse in the know, be respectful, include them in, the child's decision-making, and be resolutions-based, not blame-based. Those are going to be the best way to show that you should be the custodial parent and the parent making the decisions about the child.
These are great, great tips. Luckily, I never had to go to court through my divorce, but I feel like if I did, that knowing these little things can make all the difference. And I think they probably work too, even if you don't have kids, right?
Right. Absolutely. On issues with regards to, finances, things like that. They're emotional issues that can be dealt with in a more calm manner that a little reflection gives guidance to. But even in custody situations where you're not having a litigation, where you're not going to really have that much of a conflict between one another, I think these kind of tips apply because it'll make your life easier with your new partner, with your old partner, if you are respectful of one another's opinions and that you don't try to gauge your own tone to make sure that you're not accusing the other party, but really coming to the table with, options and resolutions. I think that's the best way to get what you want in the long run, a lot of times.
Yeah. Even out of the courtroom, I find myself, looking at a text message or an email and wanting to respond like right away. And then, I'm practicing, I'm getting better at this, is like kind of taking a step back, think about it, wait an hour or even overnight, like you were saying, and then, respond and look. And like you were saying, respond to yourself, read it first, see what it sounds like, and then rework it so it has a better execution.
Right. It's always hard, even in like platonic relationships. Tone is always hard in written communication, and you can't gauge an inflection or, so you always have to look at it with a second set of eyes to make sure that you're communicating effectively.
Great. Well, thank you so much. These are really great tips. Put everything in writing, one issue per topic or per email, sticking to the facts, being resolution-based, having an effective tone and hitting the points on target, and then being seen as respectful and the person that wants what's best for the children or for the situation, and showing that to the judge and having all your ducks lined up. So, well,
absolutely.
Thank you so much. I hope our viewers have enjoyed listening to these tips, and you can find out more resources on our website at chapter2club.com. We've got a plethora of blog posts, workshops. Join us for our weekly hangout, and we look forward to seeing you. Thank you, and we'll see you next time.
Thank you, Melanie.